This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the Aer Tech Pack 3, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So you've got two material choices for this new version of the Tech Pack, and this one here is the X-Pack version. As you can see, it is very, X-Packy, lightweight, water resistant, and just, I think, very sleek looking. I really like the X pattern that comes with X-Pack gear. But there also is, let me make sure I get the specs right here, a 1680D Cordura nylon version with an 840D nylon face. So we've seen other materials like that from Aer before. We also have that one on hand as well. So that one's gonna offer you, I would say, a bit more durability. It's gonna hold its structure a little bit better, but it's not gonna be as lightweight or water resistant / weatherproof. So I really like the look of both of them, but I think the X-Pack version for me just looks a little bit sleeker, especially this, considering this is a Tech Pack. Your tech is heavy, so maybe use a little bit of a lighter material to encompass it. Or you could also go with the viewpoint that you want more protection, and I think you're gonna get a little bit more protection from the Cordura. But enough about that. We have YKK zippers. We got AquaGuard seals on the zipper tracks there, which adds a little bit more weather resistance to this pack. They're YKK, they do what they're supposed to do. Got Duraflex hard plastic adjusters here, and then this is from Woojin, the magnetic buckle, but we will get to that later. We got 3 handles on this pack. We got a handle here on the top, and then 2 on the sides. I will say a few times when I'm going to grab this handle, I think it's gonna be up here, and it's not, and it's back here, so a little bit of a learning curve for me personally. Enough padding here to be comfortable while using it. Padding on the side handles as well. So this is nice if you're putting it in the overhead bin or underneath your seat. You can grab it from pretty much everywhere, anywhere except from the bottom. So we do have an Aer logo down here in this corner. It's Hypalon-like. It's just pretty sleek and kind of out of the way. There's another one on right here on the shoulder strap. So not a ton of branding on this thing, but again, I think it looks really nice whether you go with the X-Pack or the Cordura / nylon front-faced version. There is a water bottle pocket here on this side. It's got a piece of elastic there, but as you can see, I don't have a water bottle in there right now because if you've watched this channel before, you know that I carry a 32-ounce Nalgene, and that does not fit inside of here because that's a really big water bottle. But any small to medium, think up to 16, even a 24-ounce bottle, if it is maybe a taller and skinnier one, is going to fit in there fine. But if you have a ton of stuff in the main compartment, it kind of can't push in, so you're not going to be able to fit as big of a bottle in there either. So that is something to consider, not for people who love big, huge bottles. But overall, really dig the exterior of this thing, but the inside's where it really shines. So I'm really digging the sleekness of this harness system. I think it is a big upgrade from the previous iteration that just had a lot more going on. I think this is just as comfortable and does a really good job of carrying your gear that you stow inside. So we have curved shoulder straps here, kind of conform to your body. At least they do for me. I don't know if they will for everybody, but everyone in HQ is kind of digging these things. They're pretty comfortable. Got a pretty good amount of padding here on the back panel, and I have a little luggage pass through right here as well, which makes it convenient to throw on your rolling luggage, and aeration here too. So that's going to keep things kind of chilled out on your back. It will get a bit sweaty, but pretty much all backpacks do. I've never really worn one that didn't. Have a similar amount of padding and aeration here on the shoulder straps. Just again, it keeps you a little bit cooler than it would if it was just no mesh, and just a little bit more comfortable as if there was no padding or less padding. So pretty happy with that. We have a sternum strap here that is on a rail, so you can make micro adjustments, get things just how you want. Then we have this magnetic buckle here. It takes a little bit of getting used to if you have not used one of these before. And if you have really big hands, or maybe you have limited mobility in like your hands or arthritis or something like that, it might be a little bit harder to do this buckle because it is very small. You can kind of see it just compared to my hand there or to my fingers. It is very small. If you have big gloves on in the winter time, you might struggle with that. But overall, this is very comfortable in my personal opinion. We also have strap keepers here on the sternum strap, and down here it actually came out on the bottom of the shoulder strap, but it keeps things looking nice. And overall, I think that's where this really does well. It's very comfortable, but it also looks very nice. So now I've got the pack on, and I think this pack fits me personally very well. You obviously saw my, my dimensions in the video on the screen there. But I think maybe if you are a bit shorter, this pack might not be perfect for you. I think it'll still be comfortable just because it'll kind of probably sit a little bit lower and it might just rub you a little bit the wrong way. But again, we have that padding and we have that aeration, which I think is very helpful no matter what your body size or body type is. And we don't have any of that like hover back that we experienced with previous iterations of packs from Aer, and just that was never a huge issue for me personally, but just sometimes the back panel would kind of like be hovering and you'd have to adjust the sternum strap to really get it perfect. And no matter how I've worn this pack, it's been very comfortable. It's been flush against my back, and it's gonna depend how much gear you have in here too. This is a tech pack, so you're gonna load a ton of tech inside of here, and I have quite a bit in here right now. But the heavier the pack, the more likely it's going to be uncomfortable, but no issues for me here. So we've got 3 secondary compartments to work with here, and I'm actually going to go from the back to the front. I typically go the other way, but I really like this front one, so I'm going to do it last. We have a laptop compartment up here. Really dig the inclusion of those AquaGuard zippers on all these compartments because it keeps your gear safe. But as you can see, a very amply sized laptop compartment. This is a 15-inch computer, and you might be able to fit a 16-inch in there. I think just depends on how thick your laptop is. So I would just check the dimensions before you purchase if you're worried about it. If you have a thicker laptop, obviously computers are getting thinner these days, so you probably don't have to worry about that so much. But in addition to a laptop compartment, laptop slider, I should say, we have another pocket here on this side that goes all the way down to about right here, and then a middle pocket that goes all the way down to the bottom. So if you want to bring more than just your laptop, you can do that. If you know, documents, book, tablet, whatever. I should note that this laptop compartment is very padded on both sides. So obviously on the back panel, you have this extra padding from the, to make you comfortable on your back, but we have padding on this side as well. Not super, super thick, but thick enough for my personal preference. But on this side here, with this material here, we don't have a ton of padding. So if you are sliding, like if you wanted to bring a second computer and slide it in there, there's not going to be a bunch of padding, or if you're using it for a tablet or whatever. But for documents, books, whatever, I think it's a pretty good shout. And the laptop compartment is raised, so if you were to put your computer in there, it's not slamming on the ground every time you go to switch things up. Moving forward once more here, or for the first time I should say, we have a phone pocket. But as you can see, I don't have my phone in there right now. And I just wanted to show that you can fit things that are other than a phone in here. This is my Anchor battery bank that I bring with me on pretty much every day and also on every trip. So it slides in there. It's pretty big and long, and it fits in there without any real issue. But this is meant for a phone. As you can see, it's kind of got, let me show you a bit closer there. It's got a soft lining material, and it's also padded, so it'll protect your phone and your phone screen. I typically like to keep my phone in my pocket so I have a bit quicker access to it. I can just grab it and take a picture, answer a phone call or whatever. But if you are not someone who needs to have it all the time, like some trips I really don't need to have my phone on with me all the time, and I kind of prefer that. You can stow your phone in here so you still have access to it if you want to, but it is zipped away. And we have a little zipper garage right there as well to make sure that water's not going to sneak in through the hole at the end of the zipper track, which is a stellar thing if you ask me. But where the real party is at for this pack, in my opinion, more so even than the main compartment, is this front compartment. So this is really where all of your tech organization is going to go. And as you can see, these zippers go down pretty far on this pack here, and you can fold it down like this to get really good access to everything that you've got stowed inside of here. So from top to bottom, we have quite a few different mesh pockets. So down here, I've just got my GoPro inside of a case. It's actually got some little dog chew marks on it. That was a little fresh thing that happened recently. A GoPro tripod and just like a way to hold it to take videos, which typically I don't put this in an organizer when I stow it, but this pocket is big enough to accommodate that. So I really like being able to put that somewhere so it's not moving around and rattling around. But I mentioned this in other videos as well, but I really like this new mesh material or stretchy material that Aer is using. It's not super stretchy, but it holds onto gear pretty well and just kind of makes sure it doesn't move. Those are bigger items, but smaller items it works as well. Up here we have, I would say these are 2 large pockets, 2 medium pockets, and a small pocket. So in here I've just got my 2 wall chargers that I plug in to charge things. In the middle small pocket, I've got my Joby Grip-Tite 1 micro stand. This would also work for pens, pencils, stylus. Then over here, a mouse to use with my computer. We have a zippered compartment here, and that's actually where I have my headphones, my wired headphones, I should say, and then my 3 charging cables that I bring with me pretty much everywhere so I can make sure that I can charge my various things I need to charge. I've also got a key leash inside of here. As you saw, that just popped out. I really ever use a key leash, but it is nice to have if you're going on a trip and you're just like, I want to lock my key up. I don't want to be carrying it with me. just want to be safe. You have that if you want it. And then we have a liner pocket here, which I just have a book that I picked up recently on a trip to Boston inside of there, nice and safe in there. And this pocket goes down to about right here. So you got quite a bit of good space inside of here, and you can really remove your tech pouch so long as you don't have a ton of tech stuff. So for me personally, this works pretty well because I don't have a ton of tech. But you might need another small pouch or something like that if you do have a ton of tech in the main compartment. If you're finding this video helpful, make sure you throw a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. So moving on to the main compartment, typically, especially with airbags, but just bags in general, that's where I say the real party is, but we already had the party, so now we're moving on to the after party, or maybe it was the pre-party, depending how you look at it. But one thing to note is this zipper goes all the way down to the end here. I'm actually gonna close it back up and come over here so nothing comes out. But this zipper over here only goes to about right here because of the water bottle pocket. So this is me being extraordinarily nitpicky, but it's just something that bothered me a little bit because when you go to get in, the zipper comes down to here, and I wish that I could just pull this pack all the way open, but I can't because that zipper does not go all the way down. So when I'm trying to like open it, it just kind of stops there and folds. And it's just a little bit awkward for me personally. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's just something that, I don't know, I just wish that went all the way down. I like having a water bottle pocket, but I just wish there was a way they could have done that in tandem to where maybe even just have this one come up here and then make this more foldable. I don't know. Again, I'm being super nitpicky there. It's just something that bothered me personally. In use, it still works very well. You just have to get used to it. And it was just like the first time I was like, what? But now I'm very used to it and it operates just fine. But as you can see, I have quite a bit of gear in here, but also quite a bit of extra space. So typically I would have to bring a tech pouch, but all my tech was in this front compartment. So I didn't need to, so that kind of saves me a bit of space. I do have my over-ear headphones in the main compartment. I could slide these inside of this front one, but I just didn't like that they were kind of just loose in there because there wasn't really a good pocket for them to fit in. So they're just kind of loose in there. And I didn't really like that because that is the front face there. So there's not a ton of padding here, and there's just more protection back here. And these aren't expensive headphones, but I don't want to be a trip and have my headphones break. So I liked to stow things that I was more worried about maybe getting hit or something like that inside of this main compartment. So I've got my toiletry pouch in here as well, and then a Osprey straitjacket compression sack packing cube, just to kind of compress all my clothes so they don't take up a ton of space and just slot them nicely in the bottom there. But there isn't a ton going on in this main compartment, and I really like this from Aer. So basically you're getting a ton of organization from this front compartment. It doesn't have to be tech, you could really organize a ton of your stuff in here. Just daily use items, you could even throw a couple toiletry stuff in here if you wanted to. And then you just have a big open compartment where you can stow the rest of your gear, whether that be packing cubes, another tech pouch if you need to bring extra tech, just various travel things that you want to stow inside of here. So I really like that you have one super organized area and one that isn't as organized. We do have a pocket here on the bottom. It's a bit hard to show you because that divide I was talking about, but it goes down just to this right here. So it's a pretty good sized pocket. You fit a book in there, tablet, just flat items do better. It is that mesh material, so you can put larger items in there if you wanted to. You could put some clothing in there, really whatever you needed to, but it does better, I think personally, for flat items because it doesn't affect your packing so much. And then another interesting thing about this pack is we have this, I've been calling it almost like a frame sheet here. So if you pop this open, you can see there is some hard plastic, you can hear it in there, and it kind of acts as a barrier between these two compartments and helps the pack stand up more on its own. And especially I think this helps with the X-Pack version of this pack, gives it a little bit more structure and just doesn't let these two compartments kind of become a meshy area where you don't know where one compartment starts and the other compartment ends. So I really dig that. You can take it out if you want to, obviously, because there is that zipper there, but I just dig that inclusion. I think it really does a lot and doesn't add a ton of weight or anything like that. Again, just really adds that structure that, not that this pack needs a bunch more structure, but I do enjoy that. But overall, really like the interplay between these three kind of major compartments. Then obviously we have that phone compartment up there as well. It's gonna depend how you travel and really how much tech you bring. If you don't bring a ton of tech, you might not find this as useful as I did, but if you're kind of fall into that category of a medium amount of tech, I think it'll suit you really well. So there you have it, the Aer Tech Pack 3. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel.